Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a military blunders video on Stalingrad. And for those of you who don't know, this took place during World War II. And it was 1942, 43, in that range. No, 1942, excuse me. And this was a major defeat for the German army. Not because of their tactics or their strategies or their people, but because of their logistics, and it fell down to one person, and we'll get to it here in a minute. One of the downfalls of being a leader, a military leader, is that you have to rely on the word of the commanders under you regarding the capabilities of their troops. So if a commander says, I can do this and this and this, you have to take him at his word. And if he can't do it, that's on him. But you could lose because of it. See what I'm saying? You have to have the right people under you in the right positions. Picking good leaders to work under you is the mark of a good leader, a good commander. I saw an interesting debate the other day. Glenn Beck, well, not really a debate, but a conversation. Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly. Glenn Beck was saying that the people under Joe Biden and the Biden administration are intentionally trying to destroy America. O'Reilly argued and said, no, they're just incompetent. My contention is the only way you could put people so incompetent in positions of power like that is if you intentionally wanted to destroy the country. That goes right in line with this. If you don't have the right military commanders under you doing the right things, giving you the proper information, bad information will kill an entire army. Here we go. In August of 1942, the German 6th Army and 4th Panzer Army attacked Stalingrad. General Paulus commanded the 6th Army, and by the 23rd of August, they had reached the river Volga. They had forced 3 Soviet armies back into the city. Fierce fighting in very close combat. You know, like, oh, there's a guy in that door over there, let's get it, you know, kind of thing. Room-to-room fighting. Really fierce fighting. Allowed the 200,000 men of the 6th Army to force the Soviets into a 6-mile square area on the Volga's west bank by mid-November. And this was going to be a serious issue for the Russians. The Volga separates, it's right there at Stalingrad, the Volga River. If they had pushed them past the river, I don't think the Soviets would have been able to do anything. They would have been beaten if that happened. Paulus and the 6th Army, supported by the 4th Panzer Army, had done everything they'd been asked to do. Objectively speaking, because I don't like their politics, but Nazis. But objectively speaking, they'd outfought the Soviets splendidly. They had done a wonderful job. They had done what they were asked to do. The only reason the Soviets hadn't been pushed beyond the Volga is that Stalin kept pouring hundreds of thousands of men into the fight. He just kept pouring guys in there. You know, you can only reload so fast, is what it boils down to. On 19 November, a massive Russian encirclement operation was launched. They had all these guys beyond the Volga, and they moved around on either side, and they were going to come in and encircle the Germans and cut them off. That was the idea. In 4 days, by November 23rd, the pinchers were closing shut. Hitler had 2 options. Okay, option A, have Paulus break out to prevent being cut off, turn and come back and withdraw. Option B, have Paulus stay and fight to hold the city. Now, here's the crucial part I'm getting at. Hermann Göring, commander of the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, guaranteed Hitler that his planes could airdrop supplies and maintain the 6th Army to allow them to continue to fight. He guaranteed he could supply them. So Hitler ordered Paulus to stay and fight. He was winning. Why would he withdraw if he knew he could get troops, supplies to his troops? They got to have ammo. They got to have fuel for their vehicles. They got to have, warm clothing and food. If he knew he could get those supplies in there, why would he withdraw? He'd done so well, right? Here's the kicker. Göring's Air Force rarely managed to exceed 80 tons of supplies each day, which was just a bare fraction of what was needed. What people don't realize is that the more advanced an army gets, the more supplies it needs to continue. Guns need bullets, tanks and trucks need fuel, artillery needs shells, and so on and so forth. Your guys have to eat. By February 2nd, the 6th Army had surrendered. They couldn't maintain. They were ordered to stay and fight, and they had no way to continue fighting. 100,000 of them had died, and 100,000 of them had surrendered. It was one of the biggest losses in history. This crushed the myth of German invincibility and was the turning point that put the Nazis on the defensive in World War II. This was such a defeat. I don't understand why Hermann Göring wasn't taken out and shot. Given Hitler's reputation, he probably should have been. My contention is this entire debacle falls squarely on Hermann Göring. A lot of people tend to blame Hitler. Don't take a step back. Don't take a step back. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. He didn't know when to retreat. He was assured by his Air Force commander that they could supply the troops with airdrops. Why would you have them pull back? They were doing so well. Paulus was kicking ass. Why would they pull back? It's one thing, and the argument there is that if they had gotten encircled, that's one thing, gotten cut off, But if they could have supplied them with airdrops, they could have easily withheld until more Germans, another German army could show up and help them out. My contention is Hermann Göring is the blunderer, as it were. At any rate, if you guys have disagreements, that's cool. Put them in the comments. I'd love to read them. All right? It's just my opinion. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.